Hello, I'm James Stone, Professor of Film Studies and Film Production. And this is Desiree Stone, filmmaker, screenwriter, and author, and my mother. And today we are reviewing Titanic, and this is the Knightstone Film Review. Today we are reviewing Titanic, directed by James Cameron. The film follows Jack, a poor artist, and Rose, a rich debutante, who fall in love on the Titanic. And that's pretty much what this version of Titanic is about. Yeah. Bit of a simple kind of summary.
Yeah,
with
Jack Dawson and I forgot her name, Rose something. But
all right, for those who probably love Titanic, it's a well-made film, more or less. But I think one of the main, it's called Titanic, but one of the main problems in it is, I'd say, their love story in it.
Yeah,
I saw the tagline on the poster.
Oh Lord, what is it?
It's nothing on earth could come between them.
Isn't that a song or something?
Yeah, but like
nothing
that's
what come between them.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's like something like nothing on earth could come between them.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I never looked at the poster.
Yeah, I never noticed until I was looking at it. Actually,
I
could probably
a zillion times.
Nothing on earth, could come between them. Yeah.
Oh, it's all mingled in their hair, so you can. So you won't laugh.
You're just looking at the Titanic.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
But the Titanic's coming between them.
Oh,
and the poster.
Lord. No, that's corny.
So yeah,
that's corny. I didn't know that. I never looked.
No, I just found out.
All I saw when it came out, 97, but Kai's 7, your age, Alan's 9, Phil is 11, and all I saw was, let's go see Titanic, because you'll glean some historical aspects to it.
Historical special effects and everything.
I had no idea they were going to lean so heavily on this Harlequin romance. Nothing on earth can come between them. Did he write that?
I'm sure that was him. That was totally him.
Oh, okay. Let's move on before
So you might start to get a sentiment of what we have about this film, but let's start with what we liked about the film.
Yeah, let's.
There's likes and dislikes, and there will be dislikes. But
do you want me?
Why don't you start with?
Okay. Well, let me check my notes. There's a lot I do like about the film. It's beautifully shot. The scale is very good. Very good. It's spectacular. I would say that the scope and the cinema of it, like a big film,
James Cameron is good at
a Cecil B. DeMille scope and scale of a film. I had my notes. I like the pace once the iceberg hits is when the pace really picks up. The rest of it is Harlequin romance leading up to that. But I do like the costumes, of course. That's Deborah L. Scott.
We had it on video, and back in the day when it was tape,
there's two tapes.
We usually would start at the second
part
of the tape.
In the second. Yeah.
The first half of the tape has all the introducing Jack and Rose and all that stuff. But basically, actually, it was the end of the first tape that has hit the iceberg. So we would start there, and then we would just watch the rest of the tape.
However, I did enjoy all the historical aspects within the first half of the film. It did set up the dilemma that's going to happen about the lifeboats not being enough. All the things about full steam ahead. All the aspects that lead up to that fateful night. I did like that, and those were the parts for me as far as acting and everything, and the lines that were good. I liked the lines that were the historical stuff, the exposition leading up to the terrible night.
Yeah, again, all that added to the suspense, which I would say James Cameron is good at making suspense.
Films, you felt the sense of dread, even underlined all the pretty costumes. You knew that this was fleeting, and that this ship was going down, and in a way you're kind of accounting for all the people on board, even though they're passing by little children.
And again, I think James Cameron.
I thought he was very good at
kind of showing what the cost was going to be.
Pulling all that together. I thought as far as the look of the film, the production value is very good. I keep saying very good because we're going to slam dunk the film, I really have no other adjectives other than very good.
Spectacular.
It's spectacular.
Good suspense. Definitely.
The acting is good in it.
And the acting has to be good.
It has to be good. Thank goodness. Leonardo DiCaprio is a wonderful actor. He's I would say he's one of those guys who, when he takes a role on, he immerses himself, and he's very good.
We've always liked him as an actor.
We've always liked him. I liked him when he was in This Boy's Life. He's a great actor.
There was a weird time period back in the early 2000s where something was going around trying to make it out to be that he people should just dislike him for some reason. I don't know what
and
that
no
was.
one can name what movie they didn't like about him.
Yeah.
He always, for the most part, picks an excellent film to be in.
Yeah.
And so in this film, he is, bless his heart, had to choke out those
we'll just delve for
lines.
a second in the moment of what we dislike, and it's the lines, because this goes into why the acting is good. The lines, particularly in the Jack and Rose scenario are just awful. Yeah.
Awful. Just, oh my goodness. And Kate Winslet is a wonderful actress too. Yeah. She had, up to that point, she had already been nominated for, if you care about that thing, nominated for an Oscar for almost everything she did, from Heavenly Creatures, Sense and Sensibility. Mm-hmm. She was the girl to go to if you wanted somebody to deliver great lines as a young person. She was still ingenue.
With all the characters, I mean, in particular,
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane and
bless him.
And God rest his soul, Bill Paxton, because
they had the worst lines.
You could there was one line he just couldn't do, and I don't blame him at all. You know,
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, yeah, you're right. Didn't let it in. But outside, he's a good actor, and that was like he couldn't do it, and I don't blame him. It was a terrible line. It was,
and there's a lot of lines. We'll get to.
But
that.
But like. What we're saying, the acting is really good.
The acting is
they cast it well,
brilliant, and they chose. One of my favorites. She doesn't do a whole lot of work. Frances Fisher was good in it. You know, she's in. She's in Unforgiven as Strawberry Alice.
Yeah, she plays Rose's mother.
But she was always my favorite actress back when I was watching this soap opera. Some of you might know it, called The Edge of Night. It came on ABC, and Frances Fisher is that's where I know her from. And so when she showed up in the cinema, I was like, "Woo, it's Frances Fisher!" And I was excited. So she's good in it. She's she's very good in it. Yeah. She has a dynamic presence on screen.
All the acting, I really like. Even the smaller
Bates.
Roles. Kathy Bates. Even like the guy who plays Lightower, and
all the guys who play the stewards,
and Billy Zane and
Billy Zane's
really his henchman, who was in another
classic.
Titanic.
Yeah, he was on Titanic when he was younger.
Yeah.
It was like a BBC or one of those channel. Actually, it was Channel 4. It was like a Channel 4 film. Yeah. So there's been a ton of. Titanics, of course, so this one's the one that sticks out to everyone. It's the one people reference, especially if you're 30-something and back and younger. That's the one you reference as opposed to A Night to Remember with Barbara Stanwyck, which that's one I liked. I used to watch that when it came on TV.
Isn't Cavalcade, isn't that Titanic?
Yeah, that's a Titanic from the late 1930s. There's been one ever since the event, so there's been some really good ones for lesser budget but more substance as far as the dialogue for the actors. James Cameron's strong suit is filming plot and spectacle. His weakest point
is writing, like dialogue, and
I mean, I'm a script doctor. I'm a script doctor for Hollywood. He didn't get one for this.
It's funny. I had a class, writing class, where the teacher she likes Terminator 2, but she said like this: he writes what he's showing. Like if you're showing it, you don't need to write it. And he'll literally have a character narrating something that we got that.
Yeah, I know.
Like she said, wasn't Terminator 2? She says the robot became like a father figure. It's like we saw it. We can see that.
Yeah, we see that. Yeah, he doesn't. He needs to have a doctor. He did not have one for Titanic.
And it's clear he had a doctor for Aliens. Because Aliens is awesome.
Yeah, Aliens is awesome. He did not write that thing. No. Even if he says he did, he got a doctor. And for those who don't know what a script doctor is, it's someone basically grading the paper. Making it,
and they don't get credited.
They don't get credit because then you only doctor for a certain percentage of the script. Because if you doctor half of the script, now it's part of your script. So when you're doctoring, I've doctored anywhere from higher end stuff to student films and college kids, and you only take you're doctoring what needs work. You're going in like a surgeon and fixing the broken stuff. And sometimes it's several doctors passing through it to go, okay, fix this and fix that. And he had none of that.
But just before we digress into the dislike, we liked. I think some of the other things we liked, particularly the portrayal of the entire sinking of the Titanic.
Oh yeah, that is my favorite part.
That's why we watch it, really.
Yeah, I think so. Once just before the iceberg hits and it's looming in the darkness, and the two guys in the what do they call it, the bird's nest or something, when they see that iceberg dead ahead, and then all of a sudden all the mechanisms. This is where James Cameron shines.
Yeah.
The whole mechanics of how to stop a.
Yeah, it doesn't stop on a dime.
It doesn't stop on a dime, and the millions of tons of water displacement.
When they're showing that whole sequence of them having to they have to turn. You have to basically stop the engine from going, and then have it reverse, so you can kind of gradually turn it.
Yeah, and James Cameron has a engineer background, and so he understands the mechanisms of this huge, millions of tons of
basically a building on water
with the water displacement and going full speed ahead, which they did note in the movie, which was interesting that it was. The powers that be that were on the boat wanted to show off the Titanic on its maiden voyage, and so the captain obeyed and made that thing in iceberg infested waters go full speed ahead, which is basically a death sentence for your passengers and crew. And so when that iceberg hits, that's one of my favorite parts, is that all the mechanisms going in. The plot now is the plot of the movie.
Yeah, and then just going further into this as it's sinking, and just all of the technical aspects. If anybody too who my age and older, probably you recall, I was a kid, but we had a coffee table book, and there were documentaries about Titanic, and just something about, there's a fascination of that horrible incident, and you really start to see, the events as you're watching the film, and the film definitely laid it out.
Yeah, I thought
the gradual sinking and
and he did an excellent job of definitely plotting the events that led up to this
night. What he added to is just showing you that kind of visceral experience of what it would be like to be on the ship.
Yeah, you felt I did feel like, because on the big screen when we saw it, you were being swallowed up by it. You definitely feel you are there, and I thought that he did a very good job with that, making you feel like it's such a horrible thing to be trapped on a boat.
You definitely feel the dread.
And he did a really good job with that. That's where he shines. Even in all his films, that's where he shines, is in the spectacle, the plot, the production design.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and dive into the dislike. We already talked about the lines. The lines. What if one of the bad lines?
Okay.
I got a couple list of was it? What was it? The older Rose says a woman's heart is an ocean of secrets.
Oh my gosh. I hate that line. A woman's heart. I always get it wrong. A woman's heart is an ocean of secrets.
Also, it's because it kind of is as opposed to what a guy's is a shallow pool.
Shallow pool and a bird bath. A man's heart's a shallow pool and a bird bath.
Also,
in a desert.
Is that a good thing to be?
A woman's heart is an ocean of secrets.
Is that
the hell you keeping secrets?
And also what secrets is she keeping?
She's spilling your beans.
Yeah.
Right. See, he does that too.
Yeah. I mean, unless was it the daughter or the granddaughter we saw? She I didn't know you're on the Titanic. Is that it? Is that the ocean of secrets?
And it's because it's an ocean, and so that is so corny. And he wrote that. I'm sure he was going, this is brilliant. It's nightmare, especially because the diamond that she has.
It's supposed to be the heart of the ocean. A woman's heart is an ocean of secrets.
Which he helped write the song. So now my heart.
Yeah, and I would say I would include the song's lyrics into the bad lines because he wrote it.
Roses are red, violets are blue. My heart is sinking, and so yours too. No, you can't afford the copyright.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a
but it has a roses are red.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm dying in the ocean, and so are you. I mean, whatever. Oh gosh, it's horrible.
We already talked about Bill Paxton had to get the line. I didn't let it in.
Let what in?
Because I think you could tell he couldn't say it. And again, I don't blame him.
He's a different type of actor. Yeah, so he's kind of actor. I'm not gonna say he's he had depth. Yeah, but because he's done some wonderful work.
Yeah, definitely.
But that line, you
could tell.
I don't think Anthony Hopkins can manage it. He probably choked too.
I almost think maybe he couldn't. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins would choke.
He would have to rely on his Hannibal Lecter just to get it out. I didn't edit it.
Oh yeah, and if any of you've seen, you can Google it. It's a horrible scene. It's a cut from the film, and you can see why they cut it. It's near the end of the film where I guess the old Rose is going to throw the diamond in there. But apparently in the original version, Bill Paxton's character sees it and she kind of taunts him with it. I almost wondered, it's a horrible scene. If you watch it, it's so cringe. I almost wonder if he shot that first and then they had to say that I didn't let it in. And so he's just actors are sensitive people, and when they have to do bad stuff, it demoralizes them. So I almost wonder if he couldn't let it in.
He couldn't let anything. Let what in?
What are you talking about?
Oh, brother. Yeah. And then he's he exists now only in my memory, which is the exact line from
stole that
Mad
line.
Max.
Yeah, from Mad Max, Road Warrior. Yeah,
Road Warrior.
Near the end of the film.
Same cadence. If you like Mad Max and Road Warrior, you know, the old stuff back in the early 80s.
Same way.
Exact same way. He exists now only in my memory. That's exactly how the boy says it. And he tell that poor old woman, say it just like this.
Just like it.
Like what? She might go, I haven't seen Mad Max.
Here, I'll show you. I put it in tape. He put it in.
He exists now only in my memory. And she had to say it like that. And I'm watching Mad Max and revisiting some of those older films, you know. And there it was. He exists now only in my memory. Jimmy, you stole that line from Mad Max. So he stole the line.
Another line. It almost it fits, but then I watched it and I'm like, nah, it's corny. She says, you know, to the guy who was he the engineer? You know, he's looking at the clock. And
Mr. Andrews, the architect of the Titanic.
He's looking around, knowing that their place is going to sink, and Rose sees him, and she says, "I saw the iceberg, and I see it in your eyes." It's just, even as I say it now, it's just like.
Yeah, we had to rewatch it. I was like, ugh, and I see it in your eyes.
It's just too.
And again, James Cameron goes, "Oh, that's brilliant."
Because you know, the Jack and Rose story is a Harlequin romance novel, and I feel like it falls right into that kind of line. It's just too romantic. It's just too poetic for like. Why is she suddenly poetic?
Yeah, you know? when you sense a sense of dread. Yeah, and by the way, Victor Garber is a very good actor. You know, he's from Alias.
Oh yeah,
he plays Mr. Andrews.
Yeah,
you know?
He's good. Yeah,
he's good.
We watched him on an episode of Frasier. He plays his butler.
The butler. He's hilarious, but he's a really good stage actor, so you needed someone like that. Again, great actors carrying these horrendous lines. Yeah, he had good lines though, because he had the historical kind of aspects of it. So
and again, this is why I'm talking about these lines, and I feel like, again, great acting. I feel like Kate Winslet was able to say the line and sell it, even though it's a bad line.
She was able to sell it. I got to see that. Billy Zane, he had the line.
Always win, Jack.
I just can't say it. Can't say it. What does he say? I always win, Jack, one way or another. And I knew what he was doing. Billy Zane's a wonderful actor. If you've seen Orlando, he's breathtaking. He's in Tombstone.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
he and Bill Paxton in Tombstone. He's a wonderful actor, and he had to choke out this line. And I know he must have said, "I'll play him crazy." I'm playing a rich guy, madcap. Edwardian crazy. So I always win, Jack. One way or that. That's how he played it, just to get it out. Yeah. Bless his heart.
I think that's what all the actors who were able to. Let me try and play it this way.
I'll play it this way. Yeah. And he decided I'll play him crazy. Yeah. And that way it'll come off. Like he's going mad, I'm losing control. That kind of thing. I always win, Jack.
Oh yeah, and then one more thing. I'm sure there's other lines. I'm sure we can go over, but. And I'm sure other people have noticed this too, because I noticed it's counted on IMDb. There's Jack, the name Jack said by Rose. Rose says Jack over 80 times in the film, and Jack says Rose over 50. Honestly, I feel like that's not. I feel like it's more than that. I think someone miscounted.
I started counting
because it's easy to accidentally miss it. So I'm pretty sure someone missed it.
Yeah. I started counting, and I already got up to 50 once they meet each other. Not to mention other people say that, which is breaking code with Edwardian times. So people didn't call people by their first names. They would say Mr. Dawson this or Mr. Dawson that. But I feel sorry for the script girl. Is she wearing? Is she like waiting out in the water?
Was in the scene when after the Titanic fell. That's where they said there's I think the brunt of it.
There's so many Jacks.
Jack, Rose. Particularly after it sinks.
Swim, Rose.
Just
as opposed to what, Janet? We know
Jack.
The
Rose,
audience.
Rose.
The audience knows who it is. We've established that's Jack, and this is Rose.
Well, we like to joke that obviously James Cameron wanted it to be that many times, and we always joke that okay, they they're saying Jack, Rose, and they cut, and
the script supervisor wades out to the water and goes,
what happened?
You missed a couple of lines. Which ones? You were supposed to say 3 Jacks. Jack, I'm so cold, Jack. And you're supposed to say Rose, swim, Rose, swim.
I thought I did say Rose.
No, you said swim, Rose, swim, Rose. So you got it wrong.
And then he said, "Do we have to say Rose every time?" And then you hear James Cameron on the megaphone. "Yes, you must say
from
everything."
The director tent somewhere.
In the director village, video.
Yeah, what they call it, video village. Yeah. I was working on a film in Wardrobe, and I never saw the director. And then all of a sudden you heard this voice coming out. This is when I was in Chicago. And he just came out of nowhere, going, "Say it slower and faster." So this is one of those directors who never comes out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's how James Cameron is, but
I don't know. He's probably too busy screaming at everybody. Allegedly.
But again, we've heard that. Yeah,
we've heard horror stories, but
not particularly Titanic, and particularly to Kate Winslet. He wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that's on record.
Yeah, right.
But his writing in that. Oh, Jack, Rose, Jack, Rose, Jack. He started to go crazy.
Yeah. And we've only touched on the lines. There's other problems, and I mean, there's discrepancies in the film when old Rose is said like there's they're telling the story, and then she's literally telling the story all in one sitting on a boat.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys says, "There's no record of Jack. We never found him." It's like, when they just learned about him.
Did he sneak off to Google? Did he Google 1997 Google? Yeah. And just Google random Jack
There wasn't
Dawson.
Google in 1997.
Yeah, if there was, it wasn't for Googling people to find people.
No, he'd have to go to the Smithsonian in D.C. or something and do some research.
And then find out what city he lived in, and then get the white pages.
And take a helicopter back to the boat and say, we've never heard of Jack Dawson.
In the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And that was weird.
That was totally like,
okay,
careless. You're writing and you're not thinking.
I mean, if I was doctoring on it, I would have said, well, how could he have looked up Jack Dawson in the middle of the ocean during the story itself while you're being told the story?
Yeah. And he'd have... he would just be like, oh, it's just gotta be. Yeah. So that's a major hole in the story. Another hole... I mean, in the end...
Is this all under intellectual?
This is under dislike. This is
dislike. Yikes.
It's another hole. In the end, we see Kate Winslet's character, Rose. She didn't get back with her husband. Obviously, I remember the guy she was betrothed to. Obviously, he's an asshole. We got that. But she had and she didn't also even go back with her mother. She saw her mother on the Carpathia, but she didn't. She hid herself. Basically. So supposedly she went to New York, and made her way. We see pictures of her, on planes and doing fabulous stuff before she had a bunch of babies, as Jack says. He says,
"You're gonna have a bunch." That's another line. Oh, you'll have and I'm all for having a bunch of babies, but the way he said it, you'll have a bunch of babies.
Maybe change it to like children.
Children, because when he said babies, why he's freezing?
Yeah, it just sounds kind of stupid. Yeah.
It's Harlequin. It goes with the Harlequin romance.
But like, so she had this life, apparently
with no
jet
money?
setting, but apparently she had the heart of the ocean diamond in her pocket and didn't sell
cash it in.
She talked about the crash even. And what's his name killed himself. Cal killed himself in the crash.
The depression hit and the crash.
So
the crash
she went through the
1929.
depression and she made her way through New York without selling that hunk of diamond.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just not believable.
Well, it's weird because I guess at some point she did get married.
Yeah,
because she has a grand. So she's walking around with that hunk of diamond. And meanwhile, her husband's going, I'm trying to make my way in life, and boy, I could really use a hunk of diamond.
It'd be nice if we had a little bit. If we could just have a windfall.
I guess this goes back to a woman's heart is an ocean of secrets.
As in you're holding out on me.
I got a $20 million diamond in my pocket, and I'm not going to do anything with it, but wait for an opportunity to throw it back in the ocean.
Her family. I got to
save
up for college.
It's really expensive. And she's sitting there having tea. A woman's secret is a heart of oceans. What's it called? I can't get the line right.
Women's heart is an ocean of secrets.
Yeah, it's right in her pocket.
Yeah,
$20 million or more dollars. Probably increasing in its value over the years.
She's got grandchildren, and supposedly, like, what? She's Jack's the poor person. Does she care about poor? Is there any possibility she would maybe sell it and give it away?
Or start a school in Jack Dawson's name.
Yeah,
she took his name, by the way.
Right.
Says, what's your name, love? And she goes, Rose Dawson. So she took his name.
Right.
Yeah. She could have started the Jack Dawson Art School of Arts, since he was an artist.
Yeah.
And with the diamond.
Yeah. So that to me is a hole, because it's just like, really,
she's hung on.
She went to New York destitute. She went through the crash. During the time, this is depression. During the depression time,
stood in the bread
still
line.
Holding on it.
Stood in the bread line.
World War II passes by. She's still not, not doing
World War One. Remember, 1912.
Yeah, World War One.
1914 was the war. The Americans get into the war in 1918.
The pandemic.
the Spanish flu. Yeah.
The depression.
World War II.
The World War II. All these times pass by.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm not gonna. And as the diamond gets more and more value too.
It increases in value, and she's sitting there going, "A woman's heart's an ocean of secrets."
All right, but we digress.
We digress.
So yeah, a lot of stuff we didn't like. Oh yeah, just briefly, some of the things I didn't like.
Ooh.
It feels a little anti-rich in the film, which I feel like I feel like again is just kind of very Marxist mentality of thinking. Yeah, and he grew up rich, James Cameron. So
he's wealthy.
He's wealthy now.
No, he was wealthy. He's from wealth and privilege.
So it's one of those things, and you see this in like with creators like the people who did Parasite as well, which I just find hypocrisy.
It's deplorable. It makes people. I mean,
because people are people and human beings.
And I would say just on that note that to enjoy people dying because they're rich is evil and wrong. And I felt that tone in Titanic, like it's
because
funny.
Of course there were some bad rich people in
that we don't know their hearts when they're suffering in the water and the Titanic's tipping and people are dying and screaming and being crushed. J.J. Astor was one of those guys. When they found his body, it was crushed.
Yeah.
And
a lot of those rich people knew that as men stood aside.
And a lot of them, if you read some of the history, gave up their seat, made sure there were third class people, women who needed that seat.
And this is documented, and it was a missed opportunity, but probably intentionally missed on him because you can get a sense of this magical poor people and things like that.
Yeah, and the patriarch is going to go down in the ship. Some of those patriarchs had children on the boats watching their father die.
Yeah,
I don't like that mindset. Yeah, and a lot of the people who were on those boats, I'm sorry, I got scholarships from their descendants to go to college. So screw you. When people do that, I don't like that. These are human beings, and that was a terrible night.
Yeah.
For everyone, including them.
And yes, of course.
And freezing to death and drowning is the great equalizer of everyone.
What I find is interesting, the people who were more documented as despicable were the kind of middle ground people, the people who were who would have been poor, but they felt like because they were working for a rich elite people that they could be what they call the little Hitlers, kind of, is these people who basically locked these worker people who locked the Italians and the poor Italians and the poor Irish
and the poor immigrants
down in the steerage
and wouldn't let them up.
Yeah,
and those middling people, that's what you call them, the ones in the white. If you watch them with the ones in the white coats, that is actually documented that they locked the Italian cooks into the kitchens and the pantries, and they did not let them out.
Yeah, even like
because they were Italian.
Mr. Was it Ismay? He's a wealthy businessman. He wouldn't necessarily say he's one of the kind of the wealthy,
no,
but he's more
he's an upstart.
Upstart, yeah, and so he snuck
upstarts
on.
Tend to be push the elitism even more because they want to forget that they were once poor. It's kind of like the Javert and Jean Valjean story in Les Miserables. You know, I was a rat like you once, but now I'm not.
One character in Bleak House is the brother of George.
Who looks down on the poor. Now that I'm not poor anymore, I look down on you, and that's what was happening on Titanic.
Yeah,
one of the rich socialites, I forgot her name, but you can look it up. She gave up her seat for a poor woman who was on the deck.
And so I feel like the film, it made a point. I feel like it was trying to put rich people a little in a bad light. And there were, and we know there were some. Again, I think it was more the middle people.
The middling people, middling rich, the bourgeois rich,
bourgeois,
not the actual wealthy people who were, can people help if they were inheriting stuff? Who cares?
Well, also in Titanic Heaven, that's another thing we hated.
At the ending, again, this goes back to James Cameron's writing, which is that he can't end his films. He can't end his films. So we're going back down and
It's like, how long did it take for Titanic? After it sank, we see her go to New York and whatever, we see they have the old lady talking.
And then I guess she dies in her sleep, warm in her bed on that little explorer ship. And then they go into her head, and then the Titanic goes from being in the ocean all rotting to back into its pristine self. So Titanic
all
Heaven.
The good people of the
all
Titanic.
The good people on the Titanic were on there, and she's wearing a beautiful wedding dress because they get married in Titanic Heaven. And he puts his hand out. He's still wearing his magical pour outfit, not the tuxedo. Yeah. And he puts his hand out, and they kiss, and all the people who died on the boat clap for this love story. Seal clap for the love story of Jack and Rose.
This doesn't make
little ditty called Jack and Rose. Two American kids died on the boat.
It's just a bit self-centered in that sense. Because yes, everyone's here for you people. And
it's because Jack represents basically Mr. Cameron's alter ego. The artist.
The artist.
Right. Who wishes he was poor on the streets, sketching for people. Magical poor. Poor people work.
Again, I'm sorry. It's the portrayal of Jack, I was gonna. Oh, actually, well, I'll save this for the spirit,
Yeah, we'll save that for. Yeah.
But like, it's just ridiculous, the whole heaven thing, because like, really, the sunken Titanic, made by the corporation head who went too fast in making it so that it crashed. This is their heaven?
Yeah, and kill all these people.
It's like, this basically tomb.
Yeah, well, it's because James Cameron went down there.
Yeah.
I went down to the depths, and this is mine.
Yeah,
he raises the Titanic back up in his mind. It's bizarre.
It makes no sense that, and again, you shouldn't have had a heaven scene.
It's a little bit of his id, and what's going on there. It's a little weird. It's also him not ending his film. It's not ending the film.
He does not end the film.
It had to end with Jack and a little ditty called Jack and Rose. You know,
if he had his way doing Aliens, we'd have show Ripley and what's the name going all the way to Earth or something like that.
Hicks.
And, Hicks
we'll see their wedding.
And Newt grow up.
We see Ripley have some more babies with Hick because they're hot anyway. And then we find out that she wants to explore the space a little more. She takes Newt with her.
He wouldn't know, like, how do
I end this? She graduates from space college. It would just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Like the song. And on and on. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So,
we digress.
It's like we don't like this film.
Which is a shame, because it's a spectacularly filmed
production. It's a shame, because it's very well made. It's
well made.
But this, and I wish the film was really just about the Titanic and the people that he made them Easter eggs. I wish he actually just focused on them.
Yeah, because there are a lot of great stories and fascinating incidents of survival.
So I'm sure there's people who love the whole Jack and Rose love story, but frankly, you have to ask yourself why. Because it's a very
grow up. You grow up. I mean, I remember when it came out, all the teenage girls again. He gave his life on the door.
Yeah.
And yum 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 yum. Yeah. When we get to that part too about the door, everyone, that drives people crazy. I'm sure of all walks of
there was a Mythbuster where they tested out if that, and I think they broke it. That we could have both
gotten on the door and both survived. But then then it wouldn't mesmerize you to go back and see it again, because it's Leonardo DiCaprio. He just got off of Romeo and Juliet the year before, where he's all dishy.
One more thing, the spitting. I hate the whole spitting thing.
Yeah, I felt like that was James Cameron slamming Kate Winslet to prettify her. To make a beautiful young woman hawk up a loogie. It's gross. It's gross.
That's not what I want to see women do.
I don't want to see women.
I don't want to see anyone doing it, but definitely not women.
I mean, when I'm filming a commercial, they say they give you a spit bucket. I was doing a taco whatever commercial, and I ate it, and I said, no, I don't spit. I just chewed it, and they were very nice. And they let me swallow it, because I refused to have some poor PA watch me spit back into a bucket as I'm some goddess, and then I can have my next take. No, I ate it. It was just lettuce anyway. It was just lettuce wrapped in a taco. I just chewed it down. I said, oh no, I don't spit, because I'm a lady. And he did that to her. I felt like that was just diminishing her ladyship in the movie, and for Kate Winslet. I don't want to see a woman spit on screen like that. It's just disgusting.
So let's jump into the whether this film had banks on all cylinders. It does. It fires on all cylinders, intellectual, visceral, and emotional. Let's go ahead and talk about the intellectual. Again, I think we already started mentioning about the real people.
Yeah, that's Easter egged in the movie.
Easter egg instead of shown.
There's J.J. Astor, I think he's a railroad tycoon.
But more
that money.
I mean, and he's kind of shown just a little bit, but we see particularly the crew. See
all the
captain,
crew are accounted for. The captain,
played by the late Bernard Hill.
Who stayed in Lord of the Rings. So in case you're wondering who that we're talking about. And
the guys who are manning the boats or organizing the boats.
The stewards in the dark uniform.
These are real people.
These were real people, and the ones who survive have their account, which is fascinating to read. I got into reading about Titanic long before the Cameron movie. It was when they found it. It was in the National Geographic. And so I was all into it. So I knew exactly what was going to happen when. So I had the sense of dread. So the intellectual parts, I was checking the boxes. They did mention. Of course, Molly Brown is on there. Brown, She was a new money, wealthy oil tycoon. She struck oil. And so there's a Broadway show about her. Like the unsinkable Molly Brown. Because she was on the Titanic. And then they had some
the Watchtower guys.
When they said iceberg dead ahead. One of the guys, I think, out of guilt, killed himself later. He survived, and so he felt bad. The musicians, of course, I looked them up. They were men of great standing and culture and pillars of their community in England.
I think some of the accounts, even of like the girl who they had cow pick up, I think is a real account. Like if some, the little girl in, or even like was it?
Yeah, she got separated from her family, and she was put on the boat.
Yeah.
And then the two little girls who were begging their dad to come with him, and the father says, "I'll be with you in a little while, just a little while. Daddy's gonna stay on the boat just for a little while." There's, if you can probably finding on YouTube the documentary that features those two little girls. Old. I watched it, and they talked about the last time they saw their father on that deck. And so that's a document. I mean, there are a lot of accounts of really fascinating stories of survival and heartbreak. The account of the Strauss couple, the old couple in the water. If you guys remember the water. Inside, there was an old couple staying in their bedroom and the water rushing underneath their bed. That's the Strauss family. Ida and Isidore Strauss, the owners of Macy's. Right. They by the way, gave up their seats. They were important. They were the owners of Macy's, and they gave up their seats.
Right, and Mr. Andrews, he's the guy.
The architect.
Architect. He's there obviously must have been an account of him
every
looking
movie I've
at
seen,
the clock. Because they feature that in every movie.
In every movie, every Titanic I've seen, someone must have saw him as they were rushing up to the deck, and obviously survived, because he's standing by the mantle in the dining room looking at the clock, with a drink, and so he stayed there, probably guilt ridden. I think he felt like it was his fault that he didn't design the boat to withstand this.
And then as far as the intellectual too, I mean, there's real people, but also they they showed, again, as we already mentioned, the mechanics of the ship was very that adds a little bit of intellect, definitely, I think, of just how the machinery worked and how hard it was.
The engine room, was. I thought that was fascinating. That takes this much steam. When they say full steam ahead, and you hear that line all the time in things. Oh, steam, as in the steam that's running the boat, and then they say close all the dampers when the iceberg hit. I guess the power of the steam is being shut off so they can stop the boat and back it up. So take away the power as fast as they could. I thought that was fascinating to see that. And kind of like in real time, and so to speak. How much time did it take for that message to get to them while they're trying to turn the boat?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, it's a lot of it, is it still like coal that they're burning? Or
it was coal.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy to think that like this whole machine is moving based off, but it requires a lot of men down there.
And that was considered state of the art.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a very good, just seeing the mechanism and the mechanics of how this boat is running. And to see it at the right time, I thought that was very good. That he put that scene in there at the right time, that we wouldn't see it before that.
They stood a little bit before when they first started when they go out. You see that the mechanics of it when they first go out, and then you see it again when they have to try
to stop this boat on a dime.
Try to turn it.
Turn it. And then, that was good.
Yeah, and so all the historical facts again are there. Again, I would say the film, despite the whole love story stuff, is historically accurate. Like if it had a few, a kind of a treatment like Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, I feel like that would have worked. Yeah, I think where and honestly, I'll say it for emotion. Like I just as far as emotion, but like I care about the real people more. I think, but
because they suffered, and
these are real people. It's terrifying.
From a poor Irish child to a maid to a steward.
One of I guess why I kind of have a little distaste about it with James Cameron is because he said when he got his Oscar that he wanted to honor the real life people. It's like, so you honor them by throwing in a Harlequin romance in the film and not
paying more attention to that, and gave no validity or details to these real people.
It's on like, well, that's you just use it ended up being a romance film with the backdrop of Titanic.
Which is
as the tagline says, nothing in the earth could come between them.
Except an iceberg.
Yeah, I guess what they're saying. No, not even an iceberg. Oh, not even the Titanic. Oh. Yeah. Okay. But,
I should have had like a glass of wine next to me. I need to be slightly numb to get through that dialogue.
Yeah, okay, but yes, there's intellectual, definitely, and I think that's part of the stuff that we like the most about it. And the visceral, I'd say.
And the visceral, the destruction of the Titanic was. I had my notes on.
And it's visceral by the
sighting of the iceberg is terrifying.
Well, and this whole basically the suspense of it all. He really again, I think this is where he excels is having the visceral.
Yeah, he does know how to do suspense because he did that in Aliens too. When they get to the colony and they're not there and it's just rain and quiet. Yeah, he's very good at setting up. The terror.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised. I haven't seen Avatar, but I wouldn't be surprised there's some good visceral suspense and all that stuff. I
don't see people with blue and stuff on.
It's not my thing.
Fern Gully. No, thank you.
But the destruction of the Titanic was and all leading up to it and becoming this kind of you would say, as you should with all films, have a kind of leading escalation.
You refer to it as escalation. Yeah, and I feel like it did that. The more
because it kind of happened historically that way anyway. As the boat is gradually going down, it kind of becomes more exponential.
And once the iceberg hits in the movie, it's about the same amount of time left in the movie as in left in the Titanic.
Yeah, it's almost real time.
It was almost real time, and I think that gives you that tension. Yeah, because the water is coming up and it's creeping through, and you can hear the boat moaning.
Yeah, definitely. I think it might have won sound effects because the sound in the film
for Oscars.
For Oscars.
If you care about that sort of thing.
Care about that, yes.
Yeah, that's our tagline. If you care about that sort of thing, hey, I used to love it. And then you find out.
But a lot of it's rigged with the Oscars. So.
Yeah, and when you knew this movie was going to win. Win, whatever that means. But I thought that was good. And I like the sound. The boat. They said the boat's dying. The Titanic's dying, and you can hear the Titanic moaning. All the walls.
Yeah, and that definitely added with this kind of fear and dread.
The water almost has a roar to it, rushing in places. Even before he even came to the deck was almost kind of just leaning. I found that disturbing. Like when you see it from the lifeboat point of view.
Yeah, you realize how much it's like, it's really leaning.
This thing is leaning. I mean, it's just nightmarish. Yeah, I found that the visceral, that nightmarish. My notes I had was you start to sense the panic in the people, and I thought that was a good. Whoever the extra, I'll give credit to the extras wrangler. Because he did. Whoever it was, I guess you can look on the credits. Did a really good job of having the background. People are starting to run. It started off slow. People weren't sure what was happening.
And good extras. I wonder if they got a lot actors. A lot of actors for extras because I feel like I don't recall seeing like
somebody just wandering like an extra aimlessly wandering around,
or even just blank faces. Like sometimes I see that where they're just there as basically background bodies
and they're not acting.
And they're not really acting.
Everyone had panic or even concern or not sure what to do. I felt like everyone's energy was. There was confusion, especially when the boat starts tipping. And people on the deck. Especially on the deck, I found that was very good. And then when they showed the steerage when they were being locked up by those little company men, who wouldn't let them open, you could see the confusion because remember they're not being told what's happening to them, and that this boat is sinking, and the water just hasn't.
They started.
They're starting to see it first, so they're trying to get out, but they're not being told this is permanent. This is death. They're just trying to get up to the deck. And I thought the extras in that were really good too. That was some excellent performances by these extras, which probably were actors. Stage actors or whatever.
And that's obviously. I mean, if you can afford it, probably having actors be your extras is a good.
Well, you can afford. They still get paid extras fee. Remember, if you're not union, you're not getting union pay. But you can act. And I think that even if they weren't necessarily actors, but they were good at being extras. The extras wrangler did a really good job making sure. This probably was an AD 1, 2, and 3, 4. For the different places and.
But and again, I think the pace is good. Even with the bad plot storyline, it's a good pace. The entire film is. We don't like.
That's the only storyline that was bad is the Jack and Rose.
But even with that storyline, I think the pace is good.
The pace is good.
It's, as far as I suppose, even though it's James Cameron's writing, it's still like I think he knows how to write pace.
Yeah,
even if he doesn't know,
and that keeps your attention.
Yeah.
And I would say that in the visceral moment, that was almost like a quiet visceral emotion. I don't know if it's emotion or intellectual too. I think it hits on all cylinders. Is after the iceberg hits and Mr. Andrews brings on all the the stewards, the captain, and Mr. Ismay, the millionaire, and all those people. And then when he says the bulkheads are filling up, they can survive with 4 bulkheads filling up, but not 5, and the 5th one was 2. And the captain, you're starting to realize this boat's sinking. I love that part.
And again, that's good visual storytelling again, because he's actually very good at visual storytelling. But like that's to show you like that map of the schematics of the Titanic and tell you what's going to happen, because that makes the audience mind start to like picture it, but also kind of have this expectation. It doesn't ruin it for you, because what it does is like it kind of creates a little bit of dread and excitement. And so that's a good technique to do that.
I thought that was a really good part. And I feel like that they sold that scene really well. The stillness of the horror, because I love when Bernard Hill playing the captain. Captain Smith turns and asks Mr. Lightower, how many people are on this boat? And he says, 2,200 souls on this boat. And then it was just that quiet. I love that. That's actually my favorite acting scene. All those guys in that scene. It's just the weight.
The captain says you may get your headline. You will get your headlines.
Mr. Ismay was looking for headlines, because the Titanic is in its voyage maiden. When it gets to New York, we're going to have all these headlines and all these famous people on this boat.
Like, you'll get them.
You'll get them now for the wrong reason. And it was just I love that scene. It's just a very weighty. And scene. Didn't need much. Everyone just kind of, you saw Mr. Lightower swallow. Everybody's like, oh dear God, because now you know that they only had, the lifeboats was not enough. All those things were coming into play. I love that scene.
And it gets pretty visceral too when it gets to like where the boat is really sinking, people start to panic.
This is where James Horner's music cue is my favorite music cue in it, because it kind of just gives you this sense of
dread and kind of slightly hopelessness.
And this is where you start to have real empathy for the real people on the boat. The maid.
You see the maid.
Trudy. She couldn't hang on any longer. And you're thinking, what?
Yeah, and you see all the people. You really, I feel like maybe we can kind of jump into the emotional part, but like I feel like. Once he did a good job of showing, I guess, everyone, particularly when people start panicking, and when it starts, frankly, the ship destroying everyone, rich and poor. And I feel like you do empathize as you watch the story a lot with everyone in the story. And honestly, I feel like it gets to the point where I kind of want Jack and Rose get out of the way, because
I'm paying attention to Trudy the maid. I'm paying attention to even
the guys manning the boat trying to cut the rope off.
While people panicking and trying to jump the boat, and the chaos that's ensuing. And you feel sorry for the people inside the Titanic as the water's filling up. And people are screaming.
The hallways busting and stuff. That whole scene, that was along with that sequence.
Well, they showed the actor playing J.J. Astor. Okay, so he's a billionaire railroad guy, but he died. Okay, he belonged to somebody. He belonged to a family in New York, and he's dying. And Mr. Guggenheim, who is part of the Guggenheim, dynasty.
Museum,
if you appreciate your museum, Guggenheim, that's what these people are. And him. Staying on the boat, he knew he was not going to be the kind of man that goes on the deck and hopes he gets a seat in front of a woman or a child. So he sat inside, waiting to have a brandy, because
knowing he's going to die.
Knowing he's going to die. So it wasn't like he's some jerk. He would not dream.
Kind of portrayed it like he's just kind of oblivious, but it's like he
knew he wasn't going to get on the boat.
He basically, I'll be damned if I go before a woman or child.
So he sat inside. A lot of men did that. A lot of men were like, well, I'm not going to go out there and be the coward. Ismay, Mr. Ismay, the real guy. People want to know, why are you here? He climbed on a boat because he's a coward. And he took a woman's seat. He took a woman's place and let a woman drown.
Interesting.
So a woman drowned in his place. Oh, snap. I didn't even catch that.
I can't remember what he did with his life, that guy.
I don't know. I hope he didn't come with a dinner party. I'm amazed to see your face here.
You can't say, I was on the Titanic, and how'd you get off?
How'd you get off?
Because I think the captain went down with the ship.
Yeah, and the men who were manning the boats, because there's no way those boats could have been manned. The physical, I picked up oars. You feel like you're picking up a stiff man. It's so heavy that you want to cry. I mean, because you know,
and these are big. The lifeboats are big because as they say in the film, they were supposed to be able to fill 70 people.
Yeah,
so that's a big boat.
Yeah, so you needed like some of the engineer men who came out of the engineer room. They were the ones manning the boats, and some of the stewards. That's why they say manning the boat, because you need a man physically to man this boat.
I think actually the manning is referring to the Latin term man as
hand, right, as in hand. But hey, it needed that. You know, I didn't have no women are carrying machetes in their purses going, cut the rope. No. Yeah. In their corsets.
I think when it comes down to stakes like that, I think we just want whoever's strongest. Strongest.
Big burly guys came out of the engineer room. Where actually they showed one guy. The foreman.
Yeah, he made it up.
Yeah. And then there's the other. What's it? The cook. He actually lived.
So you see, that's a real person too. You see him hanging on the top of the
he went drinking.
The back of the Titanic.
He survived.
Basically was sauced up enough that he was able to withstand the cold water. That was another. I guess going back to the intellectual quick when just showing how quick. It's interesting. They kind of do an ellipsis where they cut a little bit of time when they're freezing in the water. But it actually they jump they jump 2 minutes ahead because it doesn't take long to dry to freeze in that water.
At the most you survive 10 minutes in that water.
But when they basically when it's everyone's watching, it's yelling still, and then they cut to when it was quieter. It's only a couple minutes ahead. Yeah. Because and then it's everyone's just starting to just get too cold to yell.
Well, I mean that water was.
Yeah, it's freezing.
I mean you can die in 60 degrees. Yeah. That water was I think I read it was 42 degrees.
Yeah, it's got ice cubes floating in it.
Yeah, it has ice cubes floating. And that's just part of the visceral and the emotional too. Yeah. I mean, by the time the panic happens, I feel sorry for these people. I have empathy for the little Irish family. Played by the woman who plays Vasquez in Aliens. I always forget her name. Something.
I forgot.
Berg. I'll remember it. Yeah. She's wonderful in it, but that little scene, when we watched it recently, I could hear. I didn't notice it in her voice, the tremble in her voice of putting her children back to bed because they couldn't get out, and so she, tells the story of the Tiernanog, which is the Irish folk tale about heaven in Ireland, and because they're going to die on that boat, and that's what I'm feeling bad for them. Yeah, I'm feeling bad for the Strausses.
So we're obviously jumping into the emotional part. I feel like the emotional part. I feel like I felt for everyone else. I mean, I would say and I was saying to you, I'm an empathetic person, so sure, I cared about Jack dying and all that.
Yeah, bummer.
But when I really think about it, especially even when I watch it now, I really care about everyone else.
Yeah.
Their story, again, is this Harlequin romance. It really feels a little misplaced in the story. You just took this American romance and transplanted it into the story of the Titanic.
It's gratuitous.
Yeah, I was and I almost feel like they don't quite fit in that story, in that world.
With his magical poor and poor magical rich girl, and they get together, and he shows her the light.
But I care about Mr. Andrews. I care about the poor Irish family,
the little Swedish woman and her baby, and she goes, "Captain, where do I go?"
Yeah, all these people
dies in the water. They show her body later with her baby. Remember they go way too long. They show her with her baby frozen and dead in the water. So I care about that actually happened. People's. So the Strausses, they found his body, but not her body, and
even the historically accurate aspect that they waited too long before they could freeze. But it really was a bit of a conundrum because they would have flooded the boats.
Yeah, they would have climbed on the boats, and it's just terrible, and it's just unfair too. They only filled one couple boats with 12, and it can hold 70. So some of the things that are emotional.
But I feel like that stuff I felt more emotionally. Even the little girl crying and that Cal take her and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, where are her parents? Or you care about. I feel like you care about the Italian guy and the Irish guy. They were the fictional characters of Jack's friends, but.
Because they represented the people who had dreams and hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and when the Irish guy gets shot, and you see how Fabrizio reacts to it, I feel like that I felt more emotional too than
because everything was falling apart. Yeah, and he didn't mean to shoot him. Yeah. In that moment, and then he shoots himself. Yeah. I felt bad for them.
I feel, but I feel for the Watchtower guys. The guy when he said smell ice can't. They. we know, if you know the story, that one of them takes his life. But
out of guilt, he felt that was his fault.
Yeah,
he felt that was his fault. I mean,
and I feel like the emotion to those characters is owed to the actors and the realists, because I think all those scenarios felt very real compared to like the Jack and Rose story. Those felt real because those were real stories, and I think I have a suspicion, it's unfounded, but like a suspicion that there was a Titanic script where it just had the original people, and James Cameron came in there and just filled it in with his
because he went down to the depths of the sea. He thinks he owns Titanic. They think he's an expert.
So, allegedly, or it's just a feeling that when you watch films, you can sometimes tell when, like, I feel like there's two different scripts here, and it does definitely
put them together. And he had a Harlequin romance, and he didn't know where to put it, so he put it in Titanic.
By the way, that happens all the time in Hollywood. I mean, they basically admitted for the film Super 8. J.J. Abrams had a story for basically kids making films when he was basically kind of a version of what he experienced, and Spielberg had he said this, that he had a script for like some monster alien film.
Let's put them together.
And they said let's put it together.
Ruin your career.
Which frankly I don't know if I'm curious how chuffed J.J. Abrams was about that, but it happens a lot of times in Hollywood where they'll kind of take two scripts and put it together.
And then
which usually ends up being bad, but
or being compromised. Even if the film could have been good. It's been compromised now. Which is, a little weird. But
I almost get a suspicion of that, because I feel like that part, the Titanic stuff, just the strictly historical Titanic stuff, stuff was all really good.
And the production and all that stuff was really good. I love that part.
Again, it's continuing on emotional, as far as Jack and Rose, when I really think about it, that whole story, I
feel nothing. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't feel. I feel more for Kate Winslet in Sense and Sensibility. Beautiful. I feel more for Leonardo DiCaprio in the Revenant, or up to that point, Romeo and Juliet. I thought. That which was a year before,
and because that's an example of a love story, a tragic love story. I think Baz Luhrmann did a great job of making you somehow want them to not make it, even though they don't.
Every time I watch it, because we own it. Every time I watch Romeo and Juliet, I want them to live, because he wakes up, which I thought was
even though we know that's the story of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, we know that.
That's good storytelling if you can do that.
But you forget, and you don't want to believe that they're gonna. They'll run off
especially
together.
It makes it heartbreaking when she wakes up while he's dying. That's.
I almost, and this is just my theory. I'm supposing. Cameron saw Romeo and Juliet, because remember the last scene in Romeo and Juliet, they're kissing underwater. And then he went, that's what I want. Romeo and Juliet. He's from the poor, and she's from two different households get together, and they love each other in water. And then they die in water. And there's more water. I
wouldn't be surprised that he wasn't consciously thinking about that. A lot of times, I think when people are writing from their id, they think they're coming up with great ideas, when actually they're just coming up with something that their brain already digested.
I almost think that's what it was too. He was imprinted by Romeo and Juliet, and he put that in that Titanic script that was fine without the Jack and Rose thing. And he put it could have been just Romeo and Juliet on Titanic.
That's basically what it is.
She's even flowing in a dress. It's kind of Romeo Juliet-y, And there's a triangle. There's a Mercutio. That's Billy Zane.
It's sort of.
There's two households, both alike in dignity, and fair Titanic, where we lay this scene. It's awful.
It's like it wasn't Shakespeare, like Verona again. I mean, for James Cameron, it's apparently the ocean again.
Ocean again. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he did that.
But let's move on to the fruit of the spirit.
Well, you wrote down courage. I would say.
So
the priest.
The fruits of the spirit.
Which
from,
is
Galatians.
From Galatians 5, is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law.
So I mean, I think the film portrays again with I'd say the Titanic portion of the script, courage. With the real people in particular.
And courageous, in the Bible talks about being courageous. being of no fear. And
because again, of course, sure, they show it with Jack too, but I don't really care about that story. But it's the other people you see
the priest,
all
the people hanging on to him for dear life, literally, and he's praying over them. These are his last words. It's all prayer, most of it from the book of Revelation, which is the promise of heaven for those who call on the name of Jesus, that you will be, and they were calling on his name. Nobody calls on Elvis or whoever else was around at the time. Everyone calls on Jesus when they're in dire straits, and Jesus says, I will answer you. So he takes you to heaven. So that's what he was giving them, the promise that is true.
And it's interesting because I feel like they
I thought that was James beautiful scene in there.
And I feel like James Cameron that was historical, that people knew that. So he couldn't take that away.
He couldn't take that one out.
Because he did have a moment where guys was saying, he did kind of try to make fun of someone praying by, was it the guy who's saying Psalm 23, walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And, he has Jack say,
you want to walk through that valley a little faster there? Yeah.
He's like, okay. But obviously that historical part he couldn't stay away from, because it's historically... That we that priest
which means
there.
That there's somebody who survived.
Someone survived who saw that,
or was it hanging on? And then when
maybe.
the boat sank, that person survived.
Yeah,
but he was quoting there will be in heaven,
in Revelation
that
God wipe away all tears.
And there will be no more sorrow, no more pain. For the former world has passed away. And I love the way that actor who played the priest did that. He played it like he believed in himself, and I thought it was just exquisitely done. And the way the slant and everyone hanging on. I mean, sometimes when that happens in movies, and maybe James Cameron didn't mean to, people get converted by, because they're in the peril in the moment. And sometimes those moments hit you. You never know
how many takes they take.
And you never know when people go, I think I'm going to call on Jesus for real, in this movie, And I thought it was a beautiful scene. And it resonates very well and very powerfully in the film. Because after that, there's like, here comes the stillness and the water, more water and more death. There's a lot of love in this film. I mean, I would say
portrayed
outside of the Jack and Rose stuff. I mean, I think whatever.
I mean, here's the thing about that. Again, this is where I do feel like we all love films.
We want people to be loved.
But I do think there is a bit of a lot of misguiding people of this kind of.
They worship Cupid. They worship.
Well, and there's a lot of misguiding of people by thinking you can like fall in love in a minute, and like star-crossed lovers cry. I mean, even like Romeo and Juliet, for instance, and Shakespeare I think was making this point. It's great that they love each other, but it's almost like what he's kind of saying with that is like it's a good thing they died, because honestly, like
find out Juliet can't cook.
I mean, I don't want to have their love affair was a love affair. It was not a choice to love.
It was infatuation. It's a false flame. Sometimes flames burn out.
We perpetuate love as something like, well, you love who you love, your heart wants what it wants. And that's kind of what Titanic does too. And
the Bible says, do not follow your heart, because your heart is deceitful above all things. You're supposed to set your mind on things, not your heart, because your heart can...
want something 1 minute and want something the next minute.
So that was portrayed in the movie. That all right, that's why the heart, everything was heart. Heart goes on. My heart, here's my rock heart, and the heart.
Yeah, and I do think that's what's, as you said, bewitching about this film is
it's bewitching.
It's portraying this love that we all want to have, this like. Head over heels, falling in love with some kind of love.
Instead, love is a decision.
Love is a decision.
Love has concrete action and evidence.
You don't fall in love with your child. You choose to love your child. That's the thing. It's like love. Because can you say people think romantic love should be different? No, love is you choose to love your kid.
Right. There's evidence. Your kid won't have to wake up and go, "Hey, Mom, Dad, do you love me?" Because they will know. It's concrete. There's evidence to it. And when they put that in movies, especially this one, and something that's so intense. It bewitches people. Because it's not like it's a rom-com. I love a good, romantic comedy. When Harry Met Sally, and it took them 12 years to fall in love with each other.
And they got to know each other as a friend. I feel like that's a better example.
Harry Met Sally. This whole passion love with this is just, that's...
Harry Met Sally is a better example because
we say When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally,
starring Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
Directed by Rob Reiner. Because they got to know each other as friends, and they became friends first, because you want to. That's kind of the whole idea of the story, is that you want to be whoever you're with is someone that you can be friends with.
And with friends, you can stand this person when you're 65. Versus when you're amazing, hot 25, and it's just love.
Yeah, I would say like was it Pride and Prejudice is another good example, because they learned the character of each other.
Right, their Pride and their Prejudice, because they didn't know each other, but they thought they did. They supposed all kinds of stuff on each other,
and they were right. Because they what they thought about the person was true, which it wasn't, but if what they thought about the truth was true, that they were right in how they were thinking, right? But then they learned the character of each other.
Yeah, unfolds. There was no character necessarily unfolded. However, if let's say Jack lived and he got on the door, which he was supposed to do,
he should have been able to.
And they made it to New York. Yeah. I mean, he did show self-sacrifice in character by protecting her. He was a protector, but he's a bum. I mean,
remember what this guy was.
My theory is that he was a rich boy, trying to
it's not just theory.
thumb up the.
Well, it's not just theory, because again, it's just that's one thing I hate about the film too, is this fantasy poor person. It's this totally what a lot of people have done.
With rich suburbanites always do. Somebody mentioned they always pretend to be poor by begging on the street, wearing my Birkenstocks, and no, poor people work.
Real poor people work. They try to get a job that will make money,
to make a living, put a roof over their head,
a couple dimes while they're selling art on the street.
Right.
The artists of that time were educated and had some privilege, like people like Tanner.
Or if they of that time and they were poor, they were working, as waiters trying to save up for their paints and oils and
jumping on boats from Wisconsin to Paris, and then from Paris back on another Titanic. It's like, sorry, it's like if really someone like that is a person who came from wealth. Yeah, and is pretending to be poor.
Yeah, and I hate that. Yeah,
and he just wants to live like a bum. And
I meet a lot of those people. Yeah. When I'm at the farmers market, when I'm selling my arts and stuff, they think this is my fun time. And this is me trying to pay the rent.
But James Cameron has this fantasy poor person, like a lot of people do, that they just live by the seat of their pants. They they jump on boats, they gamble tickets, and they just live free lives. They spit. I don't know why they're spitting, but
that's gross.
He's just sophisticated somewhere in his head, even though he has no education. I didn't see him reading a book anytime either.
Yeah, but he also we can go on about that too.
Yeah, but it's And then again, the one thing about this film that ends up intoxicating people or bewitching people too is that you got this character. He's basically an Aladdin character. Yeah. Where we can talk about. I should talk about a video of what's wrong with Aladdin. Yeah. Disney's Aladdin. But he's that. He's basically that character. This kind of fantasy poor guy, even though he's poor, apparently he still has all his teeth. I think that's interesting.
1912, if you were dirt poor, your teeth were,
not too good,
Not so great. And even dental hygiene wasn't what it was now, even then for the rich folks.
But you have that, but you also then have the character of Rose, which, by the way, again, this is just you see a film like this, I honestly think women, don't fall for a guy who's basically a poor beggar. And guys, you don't want to fall for the person who's just committing suicide.
Yeah, I remember, I've lived long enough to meet plenty of couples where, how did you meet? I'm sorry, I don't even ask anymore. I don't want to ask. He goes, well, she was jumping off a bridge, and I caught her, and I saved her, and that's why she's so bitter and angry.
She was such a bitter, angry person.
Yeah,
and you could tell he wished.
Yeah, the look on his face. This is a guy in the suburbs where I was teaching drama to kids, and the mom who helped me, she was the most angry, bitter. Savagely, love Costco. And the look on his face was, I wish I let go. That's what it was. And I saw it a few times. Yeah. Well, how did we meet? Well, I was about to kill myself, and then he came along and saved me. Yeah. And then he goes,
it's like, look, I'm not saying don't sympathize with people. Like, okay, save him. And let them go. And pray for them.
Pray for you.
But they need to go on a journey of
self-discovery,
and valuing themselves, knowing that they're a child of God.
Yeah, and not get married.
But don't get married to him. This is, again, you want to marry someone who's stable. Yeah. Yeah.
Proverbs 31.
And again, a film like this, it's like it's doing this thing, it's scratching itches, because again, the guy, you feel like a hero, right?
And a hero complex is a God complex, lowercase g. And you think you can save the world, and you think it's your job to. And then one day when they have a big fight, if he lived, he'll go, I saved you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do Titanic Part 2. Is them? Yeah, is their marriage? Their marriage is a Titanic.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I saved you. I saved you." And she'll go, "If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have even met me. I could have gotten you in trouble anytime I wanted to. Remember?"
Yeah. So they both have something on.
I could have left you, and no, I saved you. I could have left you in that boat.
Yeah. You know what? Because if they lived, I guess she would have cashed in the diamond, and then
where'd you get that?
Yeah. She would cash in diamond, then he'd be living like a bum off of her.
Oh yeah. Still, I thought you were going to get a job, Jack.
Notice he never mentioned anything about having a real job.
Yeah, any skills besides drawing and painting.
He didn't mention about her having children until he was dying. I find that interesting.
I was like, this is a mess. Hot mess on Tuesdays.
Yeah. So
you were talking about the fruits of the spirit.
Fruits of the spirit,
apparently, there's more works of the flesh.
I think
the fits of anger and jealousy and strife and enmity.
Because I want to talk about
idolatry and sorcery, which is the movie itself. The bewitching aspect of the film is definitely a form of. It's beguiling you. Because
I would say everything else. If I try to think of a fruit of the spirit, it's more just what actually happened in the historical. So that's not really that's not from the film.
It's not really in the film. If you touch on the historical aspects of it, then you'll find such self-sacrifice. Yeah. There's a socialite. They show her body in the movie floating. Mm-hmm. I was wondering who that was. It was the woman who said, "I thought I felt a shudder." Right. They Easter egged her. She was a rich New York socialite who gave up her seat for a poor woman. Mm.
Right. Yeah. Again.
She was like in her
20s. I feel like it's a kind of a shame that this film didn't really cover that, because I feel like there's a lot. It is
the heroism, the true heroism that was in the film.
This event is fascinated people for again. People,
I mean, there's been others
for obviously slightly morbid reasons, but also just I think because there's a slight. There's an irony in the fact that the people who made the ship, they really kind of wanted to flaunt this in front of God. Even though
they cut corners.
Yeah, they cut corners, which is crazy. Yeah, they somehow said that they would say nothing can
sink this ship.
Nothing can sink the ship, and yet they cut corners.
Yeah.
And really, this was like an event that kind of was like a culmination of a whole bunch of bad events.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons it sunk so fast, they talked about it, was that they basically had ceilings that didn't have tops. They had
bulkheads.
Basically, which is basically walls that don't have a top to them. Like it's basically the water will fill up and just pour right into the next room.
Yeah.
And it's like whereas if you at least had a top, it would have stopped it for a little while.
Right, and the boat would have floundered long enough for the Carpathia to come get them in 4 hours.
So that's just one of the things, with them cutting corners.
Also the cheapness of the steel.
Oh right,
it was. It's the reason the iceberg was able to split it open. I mean, it could have done that anyway. It still would have, but it may have dented it. But what it did was it sliced back. The hull open like a can of tuna.
And even the nature of the ship itself being so big made it harder to turn, of course.
It made it harder to turn.
But you had that.
Faster to sink.
Then they also they didn't put enough boats for the amount of people
because they thought, well, the boat's not going to sink, so what do we need all these lifeboats for?
If we put boats up there, that's implying it could sink.
Yeah.
That's that same mentality people have now, even when they build schools, and they think, well, why should we make doors so that people can escape? That's going to imply that someone might attack the school,
or it's not safe. It's not safe.
It's not safe. We live in an unsafe world.
Yeah, and so when they did that, they had not enough lifeboat. Even if they got every lifeboat out and filled them, there still would have been probably at least almost 1,000 people still stuck on that.
So you have that, and so they call it no man can sink, nothing can sink the ship. They said God can't even sink this ship. Which in
the documentary, there was a old woman. She was a child then. She heard that her mother, and she said she was with her mother, and
they heard someone say
that,
and
she heard some rich guy say that, and she said, "Oh no!" And she stopped. They turned in their tickets. We'll take the next boat.
And I think that's what's fascinating about it is that people said all this, and then if you think about it, just one measly iceberg sunk this ship,
on a still night.
But again, it was from their own hubris. Again, it's like it's God doesn't curse you; you end up cursing yourself. I think is what happened here.
Right. It was a night where you wouldn't see any white caps.
And what everyone did was that when you come across that is they would slow down, if not stop, and that's what all the rest of the ships did.
Yeah, Carpathia, the California.
But they wanted to full speed ahead because they were trying to prove that this is the fastest,
this is the
strongest
best,
ship.
Yeah, it was the white line ship line.
So they were trying to get to New York
full speed
on a
ahead
deadline.
Through
an ice field,
landmine, a water mine of ice
field, and on a still night, which is it would be dangerous not on a still night, but it was a still water night, so you couldn't see.
It was a moonless night, so you couldn't.
You couldn't see the water splashing against the iceberg.
Right, and it was a moonless night, so there was nothing to reflect the like the moon can be so bright that you could see something.
Yeah.
So it was just this glass,
Yeah.
water glass, and then plowing through it, and so when dead ahead.
Yeah.
On your bike, I mean, there's times I've almost hit something on my bike. It's dead ahead. I'm about to I'm literally crashing into it. You know.
So I think that's one of this film has been fascinating to people, obviously before even the film.
Yes.
But
and it is fascinating.
And I think going back to the Fruit of the Spirit, I guess it's like what's again, the historical stuff is what's interesting. But when I think of the film itself, I think there's more, like you said, like more of the
works of the flesh. So in
yeah.
Galatians 5, there's the works of the flesh, which you are trying to avoid, by the way, and the works of the Spirit, and then the fruits of the Spirit. The fruit is how things turn out in a good way, and the flesh is what your vices.
Yeah.
And in this, I would say that there are more vices. There's the idolatry, you listed idolatry, which is in there, which is basically the film itself. It bewitches you to keep going back. Yeah. We keep watching it, and we keep getting beguiled by Jack and Rose and their life story. And then there's also in the movie, the envy of Jack, Billy Zane's character envied this free-spirited guy. You know, the magical poor guy's free. I'm not. I'm bound to the Edwardian way. So he was, that. Yeah. And the greed. And then there's the greed of Ismay wanting. He's basically the hand of the greedy people who built the ship.
Again, though, that's just in and of itself from the historical.
Yeah, that's historical. Yeah. Those things are displayed in there because of the Rose and Jack story.
Yeah.
Yawn. But as far as the love and faithfulness and the courage that God requires of us, that's in Joshua, that was from the real people who gave up their seeds, who protected each other, tried to keep people warm, the people who stayed on the boat and did die, that father. Who tells his little girls, just for a little while, he's trying to comfort them. Yeah, if you find that video, it's beautiful. And they touched on that, and I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, and again, it would have been a really good film. It's a shame because he had a big budget. Obviously, James Cameron had access to that money to make it a good film, and it would have been nice if it was like. I honestly think we'd own it. This is not one of our ownables. We used to own the tape.
We have you can't see it here, but we have shelves.
Yeah,
we're like in the Hot Fuzz when he goes.
We're actually, I think a little bit more than that.
I think we have more than if you've seen Hot Fuzz with what's his name, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. Yeah. We have, I think,
and
more.
we consider our Academy Award was whether we can put it on our shelf, and it's not a shelf owner.
No,
because. Because of the whole Jack and Rose scene. If it was literally like I said, like in a treatment like Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, where you had you featured all like the real people, and maybe you had thrown in one person that it could be fictional,
so
like in the Dunkirk,
or like how historical backdrops are, with a
you can do
non-real
that.
person,
someone who's really is kind of like maybe the friends of Jack, where it's like you're following basically what was happening in the story. That would have been fine, but like. If it was like that, it would be ownable. In fact, it would be probably one of our favorite films if it was like that.
On the James Cameron POV is self-serving.
Yeah, it's self-serving. The Jack and Rose storyline and his alter ego version of himself with Jack and Bill Paxton's character. It's kind of it's
annoying.
It's annoying. It's obvious and it's
obvious and and this is the directors. They're like mad. Sometimes directors are like they're like Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein. It's alive.
Here's a tip.
It made a monster out of it.
Yeah, DVDs helped us realize this, but I think I started to realize when you watch like delete scenes, you realize there's a reason these scenes were deleted.
Yeah, and the studio comes in and goes, "You're not putting that."
And so when you
piece of crap in it.
and so when you see like a director's cut, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. No. I do think a lot of times, I think we tend to think that producers are keeping the directors from being creative, which I imagine sometimes that's happened.
Sometimes they're protecting the audience.
A lot of times they're protecting the audience and they're reining in the director.
They're reining him in. Yeah. And he wasn't reined in on this.
Yeah, you could tell he was reined in with Aliens. A little bit with Terminator too, but I think after that he wasn't ever reined in.
I say that if they reined in, they'd probably put their foot down
for that one
scene that you can get on YouTube. There's a thumbnail of Bill Paxton. He looks kind of crazy, and I won't watch it. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to drink a whole bottle of wine if I do. I won't do it.
I guess she's dropping the.
I can't stand watching cringe stuff. It's painful.
Considering how much James Cameron keeps in his films, I bet you the producers had to like put their foot down and say, "You're not going to get that Oscar if you don't keep this. Keep this in."
And he goes, "Okay, I won the Oscar."
Yeah,
because I just seeing the thumbnails enough for me. I'm like, "Oh my god, what is that?"
It's quite horrendous. It's a little hard to watch. You think it's going to be an SNL skit the way it is, and then And then you realize, well, it's the same actors. It's the old woman. It's the same set. This is they actually filmed this. It's so bad. It's yeah. But okay, I mean, we should move on to rating. So yeah, we kind of talked about what rate. I think our rating is 3 swords, right?
3 swords.
I think one is spectacle.
For the spectacle, it's good. Yeah.
Again,
and that covers everything: production design, costumes, whatever, the scope, the scale. The pace, it's on a David Lean scale.
The pace,
Cecil B. DeMille scale.
That's his strong suit.
Yeah.
I think we say one more sword for acting.
Acting. God bless these actors who had to spit out those horrible lines that were not the historical lines.
And honestly, like the actors do it so good that there are lines that I know are bad, but I didn't care because they said it well enough, which is right. But it's like, gosh, this line makes no sense.
Yeah. I know, like, what?
Yeah. Like, I always win, Jack.
I always win, Jack.
He just met the guy.
Just met it. There's no always here for you. I mean, we don't know each other.
Always? You don't know him. Not to mention, he wouldn't call him Jack because he doesn't know him. He would call him Mr. Dawson.
Yeah, 1912, everyone said Mr. Dawson.
But also, like, always win? Like he's a nemesis? Like we've known each other, and I've proven to you yet once again, I always win. So yeah, okay, 2 swords, spectacle,
I'm gonna
scale,
have a cow just thinking about that.
Acting, and then I'd say one more sword, which is that it's the film, weirdly enough, is watchable.
It's weird because it's bewitching.
Yeah, I do think so. It scratches an itch.
Yeah, when I was on Netflix, this is me. You guys were at work, and fast forward to the iceberg. I can't watch all that stuff. I'll stop during the historical parts when they talk about, see, look at the lifeboats. We don't have enough. People are going to die. I stop at those parts.
Yeah. And you know what I'd love to do?
The Jack and Rose
Maybe
stuff.
somebody can do this out there. Maybe they've already done it. Is edit the film to just the Titanic focused stuff. And I bet you, because the film is like 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you edit it down, I bet that would be still feature length film length. It'd probably be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which is probably, again, that proves to me that there was a script. Out there that
or see A Night to Remember with Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah, but I would like if somebody wants to play around and just throw out a movie a YouTube version of just the edited parts. I'd almost might do that if it just for fun.
Just for fun, yeah.
But so yeah, 3 swords.
However, in my heart, since we're talking about the hearts of an ocean and whatever, I will knight in my heart Leo and Kate for vomiting out those lines. I'm the king of the world. Oh.
Yeah, again, another line where, like, somehow, I guess he kind of made it work, but it put, like, huh?
But he made it work. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, the guy can climb into a dead carcass naked. Later on in life.
He made it work.
He made it work.
I mean, I guess you could feel like, okay, he feels exarated, although I don't think they would allow someone in that area of the ship.
No, they wouldn't have allowed that. Where's the staff?
Yeah.
And her going, I'm flying.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Forgot about that.
Help. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up. But she made it work. I'm flying. Because Deborah L. Scott's costumes made her look beautiful. And
again, she probably just went somewhere like, maybe I'll just pretend
she went somewhere else in her head.
I'm a Disney character or something.
This is Tristan and Isolde. They went there.
Yes, they're good enough actors. They know where to go to say crazy lines.
And Kate Winslet is a chain smoker. After that she went, shit. And then she calls her folks, how's it going, Katie? I'm so proud of you. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, I need a drink.
Yeah.
That poor girl. I knight them. So Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio are knighted in my heart because my heart's an ocean of secrets for saying those lines.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where can you go to watch the film? Right now, it's on YouTube. If you have a Primetime subscription, Pluto TV. Never heard of that. You got Paramount Plus, Roku Channel, Google Play Movies, Fandango. A lot of them with like about a rental price,
Amazon
about
price,
$4.
Prime Video,
Apple TV as well. Yeah. So yeah, many streaming platforms. I'm sure it'll be on these platforms for a long time. I'm sure it's a popular film. That's why we covered it.
If you want to,
it's a film you can kind of slightly hate watch, I suppose. But
but you can love watching.
But love the Titanic
and love
teams.
the actual people. But if you want to watch a really good Titanic film, A Night to Remember with Barbara Stanwyck.
Right.
A Night to Remember. With
There's
Barbara
also
Stanwyck.
a PBS like masterpiece version that I thought was good.
Yeah, that's the one.
Again,
with
it doesn't
Lance
have
Roach.
it doesn't have the big budget,
but it had the heart and soul that you needed to tell this tragic story.
Yeah.
And there was a BBC one. That's the one with the henchman in it. He's in that one.
Oh yeah.
It's an older one. Yeah, it came on this set.
I don't think it was BBC. It was just
like Channel 4, one of those British film productions.
Right.
But it was good, and I felt that one really conveyed. Well, I really want to convey the story itself. What happened to these people without it. It didn't have this. Of course, it doesn't have the money in the scale.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it's a shame that he kind of ruined it with the love story, because like it would have been nice to have like one with a big budget.
I think he went down there in the depths, and something else came back up. Allegedly. But
let's keep in mind, folks, to remember too that James Cameron, by the way, is the same person who, for one time, they've hidden this, but I remember I was alive. He was trying to. He's
claimed that he found the tomb of Jesus Christ, like in some box, like a Egyptian sarcophagus.
Like a coffin, which got debunked, obviously. Then they literally kind of laughed him out of the room, and since then they've been trying to hide that, So again, this just know who you're dealing with here when you're dealing with James Cameron. That was
blasphemy, sacrilegious,
blasphemous and weak attempt at trying to create propaganda
and dismantle the truth of Jesus Christ,
that he rose
from the grave, and he was buried in a
tomb, not a coffin,
with a stone rolled away with a Roman seal on it that was broke by the angels, and he was risen from the dead.
So I don't know what he was claiming with this, because he was banking on just people being ignorant.
Well, also he thinks he's a god now. He went down to the depths of the earth, 5,000 feet, 2 miles down, and he came up and thought he was a god.
I mean, I hope and pray he's changed.
I hope so.
But again, that was definitely a moment of just like, what the heck. But yeah, I only say this so you know who you're dealing with here.
Yeah, so if you're dealing with somebody who can bewitch you like that, he's and send your mind down into the depths below.
And he's not the first Hollywood person to be Antichrist.
No, but to promote it and make it. Oh, we can go on about that too.
Yeah. But again, if you want to watch Titanic.
Know what you're getting into. There are better productions.
It's a good historical representation.
The Broadway show was good.
If you look past the Rose and Rose,
the Jack and Rose,
and the Jack and the Rose.
Jack, Rose, Jack. I'll never let go, Jack. Of what? His hand,
I guess, but like never let go.
I'll never let go. So when I get married to somebody else, I'll still be thinking about how he screwed me in a car before the Titanic. I'll never let go. Of what? The diamond?
Apparently.
And then she goes.
But then she does.
Oh, fun fact: the woman who played the old Rose is the young woman in King Kong.
Right, the main chick.
The main chick from the original King Kong. Right. So, so he's going, say the lines, and she's going, oh my goodness, I've been with all these. She's seen it all. She's seen all these crazy directors. She's like, whatever. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. It exists now, only in my memory. The old Mad Max line. Remember to like and subscribe, please. Again, I'm sure there's people watching, but I don't see enough people subscribing. So please subscribe. We've got at least on. I'm just helping. By the way, we're on Rumble as well, and YouTube, but we got at least 5 and Spotify. Yeah, we got 5,000 views on Rumble, but only 8 subscribers. So again, please subscribe. I know it's something people forget to do, but go ahead and subscribe. And. Yeah, if you like it, hopefully you like it. If we had time, I would have made up my own song. I made up my own Titanic song because you can't take the Celine Dion one. But likes as well. It's very helpful. Again, we're trying to see if we want to keep doing this, and if you like it. And I'm helping my son out here. Just to kind of support what he's doing as a filmmaker. Also, a little shout out to you. We have you've written a book. It's a part of a memoir for to inspire people. It's a memoir, but we make a lot of references to film. It's through a cinema. I'm a cinephile. Yeah, I pretty much watch everything, and I wrote this memoir through the lens of being a cinephile. It's Knightstone, A Walk of Faith by a cinephile. Yeah. Oh, thanks for promoting it. I appreciate that. All right, we'll see you next time.